Now we have seen the bipolar junction transistor. See, we have two types of the transistor that should be in part of our syllabus. Okay, I'm telling which are that particular type of the transistor. One is bipolar junction transistor, other is field effect transistor, right? The difference between BJT and JFET, just generalized difference I am telling you. So in case of BJT is called as bipolar junction transistor, right? In case of bipolar junction transistor, there should be a current conduction takes place due to the both, that is a electron as well as holes, right? That's why it is called as bipolar junction transistor, right? In case of field effect transistor, this is called as one of the majority charge carrier devices. Majority charge carrier indicate that there should be current conduction takes place due to the either your electron or holes, right? So that is the basic difference between BJT and JFET. Okay, we have also seen the whatever the characteristic of the transistor. Okay, transistor characteristic means how it operated, what are their effect that we have to be discussed, and after all that we have to be discussed one of the important thing with respect to the transistor, that is a transistor as a switch. You know that any of the switch indicate that it have only two condition, either it is on or off. We have seen the this thing with respect to this part. Okay, see, we have, this is also the part of your syllabus. Okay, which is the analog, which is the digital, right? See, any of the signal which is changes with respect to time. Now please give me the example of analog signal, the signal which should be changes with respect to time. Please give me the example of it. The signal which should be changes with respect to time. Please give me the example. Sohas Gadwe, please tell me the example of the analog signal. Please tell me the example of analog signal, please. Anyone? Shreyas Sakre. Shreyas Sakre. You don't know the example of the analog signal and digital signal. See, whatever you have to be, if you have given any answer, right? If you have given any answer, that is the example of analog signal, because your voice, right? Voice is the example of your analog signal. Okay, in case of voice, that should be changes, right? So it is the example of analog signal. Okay, so analog signal is the signal which value changes with respect to time or varies with respect to time. Okay, the example of it phase as well as pressure, temperature. Okay, these are the example of the analog signal. So why we not uses currently more and more analog signal? The reason behind it is, see, there is a tremendous development in the technological field, so there should be development that causes we have to be developed the more and more a digital circuit, right? Digital circuit, we have required the signal which should be digital, right? Digital signal indicate that it have only two stages, right? Either it is a fully on or fully off, right? It is nothing but a either it is a 1 or 0. Okay, means the digital circuit which have only think related to the either your 1 or 0, it doesn't know other than that particular signal, right? So when we have to be processing the digital signal, you doesn't need of the analog signal, right? If we have to be apply the analog signal for the digital devices, it does not operate, right? So for that purpose, what you have to do? See, another means during this question also one another question, that is a when analog, we have analog signal, if it is provided to the digital devices, in that case you have to do the or you have to use the devices such as analog to digital converter. Okay, analog to digital converter is the devices which should be convert the analog signal into the digital signal, right? So this digital signal is provided to the this type of the digital machine, so it should be operated. Okay, now see, we are discussing with respect to the digital signal, right? Digital signal means the signal which is not changes with respect to time. It have only two value. It have only two distinct value, that is 1 and 0, right? So digital signal is the signal which have only two distinct value, which does not changes with respect to time, and it is used for the current world devices, because normally there should be tremendous development in the technological field. So all of the devices which is digital. Okay, please tell me the example of digital devices.
Digital
Digital,
watch, digital emitter, digital
right,
voltmeter.
right. Correct answer. Because in that case they have to use the digital thing. The device which uses the digital thing, that should be considered as a digital device. Okay, now there should be, means in a 1960, right? If you have to be tell another person you have on the America, and that should be person calling with another person without using the wired link. If you have tell, मीन्स तुम्ही जर असं एखाद्या व्यक्तीला म्हटलं अमेरिकेत आहे मी सध्याला 1960 साली 60 साली म्हटला की मी अमेरिकेत आहे सध्याला, आणि मला भारतातल्या व्यक्तीला हातात अशी कुठली म्हणजे वायर्ड लिंक न यूज करता, वायर्ड लिंक इंडिकेट द टेलिफोन, त्यावेळेस त्याचा शोध लागलेला होता. ओके, न यूज करता मी बोलू शकतो असं म्हटलं तर खोटं वाटत होतं. ओके, आफ्टर ऑल current stage, right? We have to use the 4G or 5G technology which is wireless. Okay, during that technology we have to be calling with the Indian or any other person from your America. Okay, this is possible. Why that possible? This is possible only due to the development in the digital technology. Okay, actually I'm telling you another thing with respect to the mobile telephone. I'm telling you already mobile technology is a wireless technology, but it is not fully true, because it is a locally wireless, locally wireless all over world. It should be connected to each other through the wired link, because what in case of your mobile communication, it have its own range up to the 4 kilometer, 3 kilometer. Now in a city there should be up to the 500 meter only in case of your city, right? So locally, that means you have given the certain space for the calling or telling something with a small area, up to means up to the whole world there should be wireless link, right? So normally mobile communication is a locally wireless. It should be all over world. It is a connected to wireless link. It is nothing but a OFC, optical fiber cable. It have large amount of strength. Whatever the data transmitted over the optical fiber cable, that should be more, because in that case whatever the data coming from any world, that should be traveled from another world by using the electric light signal is used in case of your optical fiber communication. Okay, see now see with respect to digital, with respect to analog signal, we know that analog signal indicate that we have taken the example of the sine wave, square wave, triangular wave. That is the example of the your analog signal. But in case of binary, only two level, that is either it is a high or low. Okay, this is nothing but it have only two level, that is 1 or 0. Okay, if consider as a, if any of the signal consider as an analog to digital converted signal, if it is considered as a, if 5-volt signal is considered as a 1, and the signal of the 0, it is considered as a 0, right? But sometimes what happen, if the signal, whatever the signal coming from your analog world, it should be 2.2 volt, right? So how it should be considered as a 1 or 0? See, for that purposes, which is the designer of the particular analog to digital converter, he know that things. So that's why he have defined the same thing. if the signal value is greater than 3 volt, right, it should be considered as a 1. If the signal value which should be less than 3 volt, it should be considered as a 0, right. It is for the conversion of analog signal to the digital signal. Okay, so in case of this type of the configuration, we have to be use the two level, that is this is the one level, this is your zero level, right. So 1 and 0, these are the two level used in case of binary signal, right. So binary signal is the name of the actually digital signal. Binary indicate that only two, either it is a 1 or either it is a 0. Okay, we stop now, time is over. We have seen the further thing.